Welcome to 3ETV. I'm Chuck Callahan, your host for today. Margaret will be back next week. I'm here today with Professor Alana Barnes, who is one of our faculty working with the IMPACT program. IMPACT stands for Instruction Matters, Purdue Academic Course Transformation. And so we'd like to talk a little bit about the IMPACT course and what Professor Barnes has experienced and what is happening with IMPACT and what the things are that have been beneficial to her and to her students. So Professor Barnes, tell us a little bit about you and what program you're in, and then we'll talk a little bit about your course.
I'm actually a librarian, a business librarian over at the Parrish Library of Management and Economics. And as part of kind of my larger kind of pushing business information literacy across curriculum, I teach this course, as well as I liaison to the schools of Krannert. I definitely marketing, finance, accounting, and I also help with the resources and the running of the library and other areas. So kind of a person of many hats, and one of my favorite things to do is to teach this course both to our management students and to, we actually also teach it to our hospitality and tourism management students.
And the title of the course and the course description?
Okay, it's Management 175, Information Strategies for Management Students, and it is a 1-credit, 8-week course that is focused mostly at freshmen, but students can take it kind of any time. There are no prerequisites on that area. That's meant to kind of introduce them to business resources that they can use both for this class and for other classes. So the focus of the class is on kind of using information to make business decisions.
Okay.
So they do this repeatedly throughout the course, is they use information to make a business decision. The point is to get them used to the idea of evidence-based decision making. So finding information and then reflecting upon that information and using it. Because I think students get a lot of chances to use information and they get a lot of chances to make decisions, but kind of getting them used to using that information is, I think, an important part of this particular class.
So kind of compare and contrast for me perhaps the way the course has been taught before and how it's taught after you've begun to work with it from a redesign perspective. Mm-hmm.
Well, firstly, it's a scale-up. So this is a new course within management, but we've been teaching it about 5 years in the HDM department. Previously, we did a lot of exercises that were more resource-based. So you learn about this resource and use it and then show that you can use it. We've kind of focused the class more on this problem-based way of doing it over kind of iterations of the course. And IMPACT specifically was when we flipped the course. So previously we'd done kind of lectures at the beginning of class and then use of resources, but now they watch videos, kind of conceptual videos about ideas, and then more practical videos or tutorials about how to use something, and then they come to class with both those kind of things in hand, and then they have to use that information to make a business decision.
So if I understand the flipped concept, what that is let's say if it's not a flipped class, mm-hmm. You do work outside of class and then you come to class and you cover material.
Yes.
In a flipped model, they cover the material before they come to class, and then when they come to class, it's more like an active learning homework kind of a environment.
Yeah. The way that people sometimes explain it is previously you did lecture in class and you did homework out of class, and generally now you do lecture out of class and you do homework in class. So you go through applied problems in class. Though sometimes you also do projects still outside of class, depending on the situation and what the aim is of it. But the point is to try and spend as little time kind of going over information in class that they could learn on their own. Perhaps at a time they're going to be more awake, more able to use the information, point of need, that sort of stuff.
So what's this been like for you to all of a sudden teach a class a little bit different than you have before?
Well, it's been slightly something to get used to. Whenever you change something about your class, you have to kind of get all your details in line. I think teaching is a lot about the details. One of the hardest things for me to do is to not teach the same material again. You have to hold the students accountable for what they do outside of class. And that is very challenging because you want all your students to learn. But you've got to have them used to the idea that they've got to be taking notes on these videos, they've got to be thinking about these videos before they go to class, and then you can always help them on an individual level, but I have to be sure not to teach the same material again. Just because that teaches them that they don't have to watch the videos. So that is kind of like a sort of tough love part about it. So that has been kind of an adjustment. Teaching in a room that's not lecture-based, that has lots of little, I teach in G980D, which has groups of 6 kind of round tables, and it's a very kind of modular room. You've got to walk around a lot, has been something to get used to as well.
So how do you keep them focused during that time they're in their group and doing group work?
For the group work, for when they're working together, I try and give them a lot of kind of project management benchmarking moments in class, like by this part you should have finished this sort of thing.
Yeah.
By this part you need to have done this. And I also, I teach a course during lunch, so I do give them candy to kind of like give them the sugar rush to get through class. And I keep a stopwatch going for activities so they can see how much time they have left. And I do play Stevie Wonder Pandora Radio in class to kind of give them also a mental energy burst, so they can kind of work through things together. So that's some of the ways I kind of manage the class. And I do also kind of make announcements. And at the beginning of class, I tell them what they're doing today, what they'll do next week, just because in a flipped course like this, you've got to kind of stay on the ball and make sure that they're doing the work before class, because they've got to apply it, you need to make sure they can do that.
So what's been some of the favorite parts of teaching the class now for you?
One of my favorite parts is watching my students work together. I think watching the collaboration in class has been really cool. Before, we had a lot of outside of class group projects, so they had meetings, but you only saw their final area. When they get an assignment in class and they have to finish it by the end of class, you see all sorts of really interesting ways that students work together. It's a bring your own device class, so different ways they use technology to collaborate. Different ways they learn from each other and build trust within their groups. It's great to see how they build trust and how they work together to kind of find each other's strengths has been really rewarding. I'm glad that we do kind of project-based work in class now.
So what are some of the challenges that have been for you?
It's always, student-centeredness is hard. I teach a 70-person class, and it's always a struggle in that situation to always make sure that you've got you get to talk to all the different students. And I think that technology has helped a lot with that, and Impact has been very helpful. But I think that's still something I struggle with, in that I used to teach a much smaller class in smaller sections. We teach a larger class now, and that's been a bit of a struggle to get to know all the students, especially it's a little bit easier to hide in this sort of class, and sometimes I don't find that those students who are falling behind until the 3rd week, which is an 8-week course, is not very much time. So that's been something that we're still working through. So
the Impact program is basically a collaboration. The support people come from the library, information literacy people, and we have ITAP, the technology people at Purdue, and the Center for Instructional Excellence, CIE. So how did that support group kind of rally around you, or how did they coach, or how did they suggest, how did they kind of support you in your redesign process? What did you find most helpful?
Something that's been very helpful is we'd kind of tell our kind of issues, and they would give us kind of pieces that might be helpful, either pieces of technology or pieces of pedagogical theory, depending on our support person, that might help us to kind of work through something that will work not just for anybody, but for us specifically.
Right.
So that's been very helpful to get those sorts of tidbits going through the sort of redesign reflection piece. They've also been really helpful CIE has been very helpful in assessment, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and being very willing to give us data from a lot of different levels, helping us track our students over time to see what makes students more successful in this experience or what didn't make them more successful. Technology, we've gone really full into Blackboard, and having a Blackboard support person like Stan, who's one of our Impact cohort team, has been really super helpful for kind of working through technology issues. Like we did a voiceover PowerPoint for our final presentation, and he really helped us figure out how we could host those so that students could vote on their favorites so we could watch those in class, and kind of helped us work through some technology issues which without them I think would be prohibitive to us doing kind of innovative things.
So you felt like in the Impact program that the library, CIE, and the ITAP people have provided you kind of a wraparound, helping you tailor your course specifically to how you wanted to redesign it. That seemed to work well for you?
Yeah, and it was also, it was good for kind of morale because it shows an institutional commitment by Purdue to really taking risks in our instruction and allowing us to learn from, as a whole university, about what works and what doesn't work and what can really help our students. And I think that's a really great feeling to have behind you when you look at making your class more student-centered.
And I assume you're going to continue to adjust and remold and reshape the course with things that work as you go and take out things that don't work, I assume.
Oh yeah, I think it's an ongoing process, and our support team has helped us even both through these first year of iterations, and I think will continue, which is a really great feeling.
Well, thank you, Professor Barnes. We're going to take a break and come back, and we're going to talk to one of Professor Barnes' students in the second segment. Welcome to 3ETV. I'm your host, Chuck Callahan. Margaret will be back next week. We're going to continue our discussion with the Impact Class Redesign project that we have going here at Purdue. And we're here with Jing Seo, who's going to talk a little bit about her experience with being in the impact class. But Jing, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay.
Tell us where you're from, what major you're in. Tell us about you.
My name is Jing Su, and I'm a junior majoring in accounting at Krenner School of Management at Purdue University. I come from China, and my hometown is Beijing. Currently, I'm in the 2+2 program between China Agricultural University and Purdue University, and this is my second semester at Purdue.
Wow, I've been to Beijing, by the way.
Really?
Yes. Tell me a little bit. It's a beautiful city, by the way.
Okay, Beijing is the capital of China, and it has a lot of interest to visit, like the Great Wall and Summer Palace, all these history places, and also it's a modern city. You can have a lot of good experience going to the concert and seeing all the shows and all the programs that you can experience there.
What brought you to Purdue?
Okay, so like I said, I applied for the 2+2 program in China Agricultural University, and I always want to study abroad in America, and Purdue has such a good reputation, so that's why I applied for that.
Wow. Now, you're in this impact class,
right?
And it's a little different than some classes. So tell me a little bit about what you've experienced being in this class. What's it been like?
Okay, so in the first 8 weeks of this semester, I've been in Professor Barnes' the Management 175, and I like this course very much because I like the participation in this class. It's not like a lecture, you just listen to your professor telling all the knowledge, but you have to interact with the professor, and you have a lot of group discussion. Also, we do group challenges in class. After class, we will have group project. We meet as a group, we work as a group, and I met so many friends there. And also I like the class atmosphere. Professor Barnes always puts some music in the background when we're doing the challenges. Also, we'll get candy like prizes when we're done our project.
So you guys are having fun?
Yes, I'm having fun.
Now the question is, are you learning anything?
Okay, I learned a lot because this class is telling you how to use all the resources like in library or in database of online to use those information to do your research, write your article. So I've learned a lot of skills like how to use different kind of tools online to do your research. And it's not like just Google it or ask.com. Is a lot of professional resources that we can use.
So it isn't just listening, it isn't just listening to a lecture, but
No.
sounds like you're actually doing?
Yes, we're actually doing, and we are also do a short presentation every class when we're done with our group challenge. We can get a chance to explain what we're doing and what we get and what the challenges we're doing is for.
So you've talked about the things you like. You like the participation and being with other students in the group work and the active learning.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you've struggled with, or maybe things that you would like to be different in a redesigned impact class?
Okay, I think I might like if we have a more organized schedule in one class, because sometimes basically in our group, you know, we're all college students, and although we're discussing the topic now, but maybe 5 minutes later we start to talk about movies, start to talk about life, so it's kind of distract sometimes.
So the Professor Barnes needs to work hard to keep you on task during class.
Yes, yes, she did.
So talk a little bit about the other active learning things you're doing in the class. You do group work, and are there any other active learning activities that you're doing in there? Or?
I like one thing about this course. It's called Crowd Ask.
Okay.
It's an online question and answer, like social media. You can ask questions on the website, but you can also be the one who answer the questions. And it's been as an extra credit for us to do that. But personally, I find it very useful because I can discuss the topics that we talk about in class with my peers, and also sometimes Professor Barnes will also answer those questions herself. So in this way, I think it's promote our communication between students and also professor and students, and let the professor know what we are confused confused, and what we like, what we don't like is also a good feedback tool.
So if I understand this correctly, Crowd Ask.
Crowd Ask.
And a question can be posted
Yes.
by, let's say, your professor or a student.
Yeah.
And then the crowd, the group,
Can
has
answer
access to it, and they begin to answer it.
Yes, and you also earn points for posting a question, answer a question, also vote up a question, or you can vote down if you don't like the answer.
So if someone posts something that's incorrect, one of the other students is going to let you know that's not the right response.
By showing voting up.
By showing what?
By showing voting down.
Okay.
You can like it or dislike it. It's just like Facebook. You can like it or you can dislike it, and it gives you a number of how many students like this, how many students don't.
Now, would that work if Professor Barnes posted like 10 or 12 questions, said, okay, I want the crowd to answer these questions? Would it work in an application like that?
Basically, the website is help you to solve problems. It's not like question posting area like you earn points. You can ask what is our homework in today's class, and how can I use this website to search blah 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 like that.
Okay, so it's kind of a self-management tool that you use in the course.
Yes, interaction between students and people are there to help you to solve those problems.
So Crowd Ask is one application of technology that you're using in the class. What other aspects or types of technology are you using?
We're using Blackboard Learn. The other classes use that too, and we also have access to the database or library at Purdue, like LexisNexis and IBIS World. Those are all good business resources that you can research a company, you can research an industry, and because we're all credit students, so that's very useful resources for us to do research.
It sounds like you are putting together quite a toolkit. If someone in next semester asks you to do some research in a class,
yes,
you'll know
I
how
have
to
a
do
lot
that.
to tell them. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What are any other aspects of the class that you really like?
Like I said, I like the class. It's not like I go to the class and I expect to hear and sitting there and just listen to whatever professor saying. But I think we are the leading character there. We are there to speak and we are there to communicate. So that really makes me confident and involved in this class.
Now, your involvement with your group, do the groups change? Or they stay the same all semester? How does that work?
It stays the same, but before the class, we have a pre-survey to the class. Like basically knows something about you. Like, do you prefer to be a leader or do you prefer to be a follower? And what's your current GPA, or what things you like, what things you don't. So I think Professor Barnes tried to make a diversity of a group, or at least put one people who like to be the leader there and the other followers. But it's not like a straight line, but we all interact very well.
Now, if I recall correctly, that class does have a fair number of international students in it.
Yes,
Does your group have another international student, or how many international students are in your group?
I think in my group there's 2 international students, including me.
Okay.
And the total group number is 5.
5. So how does the group interaction work with international students and domestic students? Does that work well, or how does that work?
I think it works well because we're from different cultural backgrounds, and actually we have a lot to share about, like the differences, what Chinese people will do when the New Year's come, and what Americans will do in Christmas season, and also there's a lot of things that we can learn about each other. Maybe sometimes it's about the personality, like Chinese students tend to be more quiet, but they have some ideas. But in the group discussion, we not only have to speak out, we have to write something. When we write something in a report or a memo, some talents will show up.
So you haven't had any trouble adapting to the group and
no,
talk?
I didn't.
I don't get the sense you're probably quiet all the time?
No, not really. I'm not like the modest kind of, not the quiet people, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm very outgoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would definitely recommend an impact redesign course for learning?
Yes, I definitely recommend it.
And you feel like this style of class, this design has been helpful for you to learn more?
Yes, involvement and really like the course content, and also you got to learn something. Yes, I would recommend it to the maybe freshmen and other students in Krannert. Actually, I'm currently selected to a mentor program at Krannert. I will have 2 freshman students next semester. I would definitely recommend this course to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So in wrapping up our 3E TV show here today, we certainly would like to point you to the Purdue CIE website. You can Google CIE Purdue Impact. It'll take you to the Impact course site, which will give you information about the Impact program, and certainly you can contact CIE to get any additional information about Impact here at Purdue. So until next time, goodbye. We'll see you, and again, Margaret will hopefully be back next week.